Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is John Campea, and this is a companion video. What are companion videos? Well, I'm awfully glad that you asked. See, every day on the John Campea Show, Monday through Friday, we take the second half of the show, take your live comments and questions. However, we don't always have enough time to get around to all the live comments and questions that get sent in. But if you sent in those questions and you tipped into the channel to support the channel, I want to make sure you don't have to wait too long to get those questions answered. So we gather up the unused questions and we address them here on companion videos. And today we are very happy to be joined by Kimberly Kern, who's helping us out. Kimberly, how you doing?
I'm doing awesome. I'm doing so great, John.
It is good to have you here, and it is good to have you guys here watching along with us. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. So Kimberly, what is our first question today?
All right, this is coming from Stephen P. Hey, John, been a watcher of yours for nearly 10 years.
Wow.
And this is my first time sending in. Love the content.
Thank you, man.
Recently finished both seasons of Warrior, and OMG, why is no one talking about this show? It's amazing. Are we ahead of the curve?
Well, I mean, here's the thing about it, though. And one of the reasons why I just got on the train recently, it was on Cinemax. I don't know anybody that has Cinemax. I certainly didn't have Cinemax.
No.
So it wasn't until it moved over to HBO, and then only still a few people knew about it. And then it took the word to start going. That's how I got on board with it. Guys, if you've not started watching Warrior on HBO Max, go do it. It's absolutely worth it. It is fantastic. Best action I've ever seen in a television show ever. Go and check it out. All right, what's next?
Wes Maurer says, hey, John, hope you had good luck in Vegas.
I did.
Just wanted to know if you've ever seen the show Blind Spot. It stars Jamie Alexander as most wonderful as Lady
Most would know.
Sorry, guys. Most would know as Lady Sif from the MCU.
Yeah, I liked Blind Spot for almost all of it. I never did watch the final season because they brought the one main storyline to an end, and then they said like 3 years pass and her and the guy break up. Then he finds her in a tent and it's supposed to set up another season. I'm like, you know what? I'm good. I'm tapped out. But I mean, the first few seasons, I really loved it. Jamie Alexander, the show starts with a big duffel bag being found in the middle of Times Square. And the police open it and there's a naked woman inside covered in all these cryptic tattoos. And the whole idea of the show is each one of the tattoos kind of predicts the future about a crime that's going to happen. Did you watch this show when it was?
I remember seeing the commercials and the ads for it, and me and my family tuning in just because we wanted to know who is this person in a bag.
That's the hook, right?
In Times Square. But I gotta be honest, after a few episodes, it kind of lost me. But I have heard that people really like it a lot.
I liked it. I enjoyed it. But again, I never finished it because it ran out of steam for me. But the first few episodes were quite good. All right, what's next?
This is coming from Big Will. Hey, John and crew. My question is, with Tupac Shakur's birthday recently passed by, which would have been his 50th, what is your favorite role he played in? For me, it's Bishop in the film Juice. R.I.P. to the GOAT. Keep your head up. Legends never die.
Yeah, now, let's be honest. Tupac wasn't the great thespian. He wasn't the great, he didn't have the biggest and best.
He wasn't Denzel, but he wasn't horrible either.
No, he was horrible.
Seagal.
He was horrible. He was a guy that they put in movies because he was famous.
Because he was Tupac.
Although that one he was in with Omar Epps. And that one was actually pretty good. So that's
Poetic
the one.
Justice was great.
Yeah,
He was really good in that.
he was pretty good in that, but I still like that first one. So yeah, it's not like we're picking from the films of Daniel Day-Lewis, but I mean, yeah.
It's kind of like how DMX has been in
DMX popped in a lot. Didn't he do that one with Steven Seagal?
Yeah,
he did the one with Steven Seagal,
speaking
right?
of, yeah.
I mean, so it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, it is still amazing how much power he as a figure has in pop culture and stuff like that. Like it is really impressive.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Tom Gillard says, hey, John, because I am now hooked on Kim's Convenience and effing loving it, I wanted to ask about Indy 5. If you had to set an over-under line, what's the % chance that Indy dies at the end of the movies? Hashtag OKCU.
Okay, see you. I would say high. Like, I'm not 100%, not 100%, but 76%. I'd set the line at 76% that I think Indiana Jones dies at the end of this. Look, we know when Harrison Ford was ready to move on from Star Wars, he wanted Han Solo to be killed off. I think he probably wants Indiana Jones killed off too, probably in a better way than falling off a bridge with no safety railings, like he did in Star Wars. So it's a good question. I hope the movie's good. I mean, they got a terrific filmmaker in James Mangold making it. You've got a great writing team behind it. I mean, I hope it's good, but either way, I think you're looking at a 78% chance that he dies in this, Tom. All right, what's next?
Tom Segura says, "Hi, John. My alcoholic stand-up comedian best friend, Bert Kreiser, I hope I said that right, is filming a little movie in Serbia right now called The Machine with Mark Hamill. It's a true story of him robbing a train on a class trip to Russia. Will it be as good as Instant Family?"
I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know who Bert
That sounds kind of
Kreiser
cool.
is. I mean, obviously he must have some success because if he's in a movie with Mark Hamill, but still, this sounds like a small little straight to TBS movie. I mean, that's what it sounds
I'm
like.
gonna look out for it. Who robs a train on a trip to...
Are you familiar with this Bert
No, I'm not.
Kreiser? No, neither am I. So I cannot say. As good as this, listen, Instant Family ended up being better than I think a lot of people expected it, because that movie looked just like a throwaway movie of the week, and it actually ended up being quite charming. So I don't know, but here's hoping. If you're not being facetious and this really is a friend of yours, I hope it does well. All right, what's next?
BK Dan says, "John, you mentioned and showed that as a good Italian Canadian kid, you're pasty.
I am.
Well, as a good Irish American kid, I can relate. The son and I don't talk a lot either. I just wanted to tip and say I can relate."
Thank you for that. But yeah, I mean, obviously, no. The funny thing is, right now, you would never know. This is as deeply colored as I have been in years, and it's only because I've been in
the
my
California
pool.
sun.
I just been in my pool every day. But like as a good Canadian, extremely pasty white kid, I am not in the sun much. I burn so easy, probably because I'm never in the sun. But yeah, I have a very delicate, fragile Canadian skin. But it's funny because Anne looked at me the other day. She's like, "I have never been with you when you've been this dark." And like,
oh my gosh,
I am still like a beacon in the night to a lot of people, but it is, I'm getting there.
Just follow John.
Just follow me. I'm Rudolph. Yeah, I'm Santa's own Rudolph. All right, what's next?
BK Dan says, "John, watching video from June 17th and gotta ask, is that the TVA talking communication dot in your director's chair?"
Ms. Minutes. Yep. Let me move my mic stand here. That's Ms. Minutes. It came in a swag pack, a promotional pack for the Loki series that they sent. That, and I showed this off before, but I've got my TVA jacket.
That is so dope.
It's
so dope in person.
I was going to wear it, except I tried to wear it on a video the other day.
Uh-huh.
That jacket is deceptively warm.
Really?
Like suffocatingly warm.
Oh,
so like I put
came
it on
in with the quality.
I put it on for a few minutes to say, "Hey guys, we're going to do the show on this." And I'm like, after about 5 minutes,
oh my God.
I can't do it. I had to take the damn thing off. But yes, that is Ms. Minutes sitting back there on my director's chair. And it's a working operating clock. It actually works too. So I'm going to hang it on the wall at some point. At some point, I'm going to hang it on the wall.
The clock works?
Oh yeah, the clock absolutely
I didn't
works.
realize that from
Yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
It's actually got a little thing for the batteries in the back. She doesn't talk, but the clock works.
So cool.
All right, what's next?
BK Dan says, "John, the other during companion vid, you mentioned Man of Steel, and it gets better every time you see it. It gave me flashback to Beetlejuice movie, and I quoted him, 'I've seen The Exorcist 27 million times, and it gets better every time I see it.'"
Correct me if I'm wrong, because it's been a long time since I watched Beetlejuice last. But doesn't he says I've seen The Exorcist 162 times? It's either 162 or 167 times. I don't think it's 27 million. I've seen The Exorcist 167 times, and it gets funnier every time I see it, or something like that. But I think it's 162. Guys in the comment section, is it 162 or 167? I know it's one of them. I don't think it's 27 million. But thank you for that, BK. I appreciate that. All right, what's next?
The Sock says, "Anime recommendation. Rito of Healer, a fantasy anime about a healer who, after being abused mentally and physically abused, and used as a slave for his gift of healing, gains the ability to rewind time and plots his revenge. Extremely mature content.
I don't watch a lot of anime, but I like when people send in these anime recommendations because this sounds interesting. Have you ever heard of this one yourself?
No. My nephew's really into anime, so like he'll share stuff with me, but I haven't heard. If it's not with my little guy, I don't. Little guy, he's 13. But he would hate for me to say that. If it wasn't for my young adult, I wouldn't really know that much, to be honest. But I've seen some really cool stuff.
Yeah, you know what, guys? I love sending the do me a favor though. When you send in recommendations like that, just so people who want to check it out have a good opportunity to. When you send in the recommendation, also send in where they can watch it, because I think a lot more people might check it out if they actually instantly knew where to go to find it. So thank you for the recommendation on that, Sock. All right, what's next?
Not Sam Wilson brings us one of 3. Hey, JC, I finally got around to watching the Snyder Cut last week. I have not liked Snyder's DC stuff, but I'm happy to admit that it really was a big improvement over the theatrical version. Still, I can't help but wonder about WB's ROI on the whole Justice League project. According to Forbes, WB spent $300 million on the first cut and an additional $150 million on marketing. Then WB says they spent $70 million to complete the Snyder Cut, and let's assume another $10 million in marketing. That I have a hard time seeing how the Justice League returns are worth the $520 million, possibly more, investment that brought these things to life. Do you think the Snyder Cut juice was ultimately worth the squeeze?
No.
Thanks.
No, I think at the end of the day, it was a big disaster. And
That's a lot of money.
And I think Warner Brothers completely regrets that they did it. And I think that's part of the reason why the Warner Media CEO, Jason Kilar, is losing his job. I honestly do think never should have greenlit it. And here's the funny thing. So there's a campaign for a long time for them to finish Justice League, to finish Zack Snyder's version of Justice League. Of course, people said release the cut.
Yeah, people were like...
The argument, of course, it never did exist. I mean, it was always an unfinished, incomplete thing. They would have to finish it first. But there was this campaign to get them to finish it and put it out. Even though for a long time people believed it was actually finished, obviously it was not. And they spent another $70 million, and it was probably more than that. But as a result of the campaign, Warner Brothers says, okay, you know what? Let's give this segment of the fan base, let's give them what they're asking for. And they invest a hell of a lot of money to do it. Even though
to keep people happy.
They were finished with the Snyderverse. Right. They were now going in a new direction. But you know what? There's a segment of the fan base that really wants this. Let's give it to them. So they spend all this money. They go through a lot of hassle and make it. And how did the fan base reward them? How did the fan base thank Warner Brothers for giving them that? They said, now that you've given us this, restore the Snyderverse. Now bring it all back. And then they start.
You can't bully your way.
Then they start hate bombing other Warner Brothers movies. They hate.
Yeah, I remember that. Giving people terrible scores.
Like giving terrible scores when the movie didn't even come out yet, to Godzilla vs. Kong. All that kind of stuff. So it's like, wait a minute. So Warner Brothers gave you what you wanted, and your thank you is, F you. Now give us more. It's like, you just now conditioned other studios to say, why would we ever give segments of fan bases what they want when you're going to treat the studio that just gave you what you asked for, spent tons of their money, lost a ton of money, and the way you thank them, instead of saying, Warner Brothers, thank you for giving us that. We asked for it. You gave it to us. Very kind of you. Thank you for spending that money. Thank you for giving us closure. Those of us who are fans of this kind of thing, thank you for giving us closure on that. Instead, they punish it. What's the old saying? No good deed goes unpunished.
No good deed goes unpunished.
Yeah, so this fan group decided, we're going to try to pressure them to do something, and they, out of the kindness of wanting to, give something to this fan base.
And it really was because they weren't getting anything financially.
They got nothing out of it. They got nothing. They lost money out of it. It cost Jason Kilar his job. All this kind of stuff. And the way they got thanked was by a lot of harassment, review bombing, It's
And the
just
review bombing, that's so many people
no. And listen,
put their heart and soul into films.
I know a
and
lot
to
of people
bomb
who
it for
really
nothing.
wanted the Snyder Cut thing. I know a lot of people who really wanted, and they were disgusted when they say, like, it's not like, don't confuse that, like, everybody who wanted to see the Snyder Cut version of Justice League was then out there acting like this. They weren't.
Yeah.
A lot of the Snyder Cut fan base were very disgusted by seeing what some of them were doing.
Unfortunately, it's the few that are loud and messy that get the most attention, which sucks.
Yeah.
Because it was a win for creativity in terms of a director getting their art out there and having a circumstance completely outside of your control that stops you from finishing your film, a tragedy, and to finally be able to get it out there, that was a triumph. But in terms of like the business side, like the art side, cool. The business side, cha-ching.
Yeah,
like,
they lost a lot of
that's
money,
a lot
and
of
I think
money.
it cost some people their jobs. But hey, whatever. All right, what's next?
Ryan says, "Hey, John, I just wanted to mention that I've fallen into a really dark place lately. Going to the bar every day, the bartenders aren't real friends. The people there are really depressing. Then I remembered your show, started watching again. Thank you."
Thanks a lot for that. Listen, it's always great that the world of movies and the film fan community can totally be there as that oasis that we always need, and that's great. But oftentimes that's just the little pick-me-up we need. But I also want to say, like, do not hesitate. There's been a stigma, particularly on men, about getting mental help, getting mental health assistance. When we want to get physically stronger, we don't see it as weakness to go to the gym. We go to the gym because we want to get physically stronger. And it's seen as a good thing that we go to the gym because we want to get physically stronger. I think we need to have that same approach in thinking about mental health. That, you know what? I want to get even stronger than I am. I'm going to get some counseling. I'm going to get some therapy. I think there's been a stigma of weakness attached to that. If you're in a place like you're in, Ryan, number one, I'm thrilled that the film fan community is here to be a place like that. But I also want to really, really encourage you, not because it's a sign of weakness, but because it's a sign of strength, that you also go out and seek some help, because you'll be amazed how far that goes. So I really want to encourage you for that. And so thank you for having the fortitude to actually say that out loud, but now do something about that as well and go get some help that you need, because you'll be absolutely stronger for it. All right. Thanks for sending that in, Ryan. All right. What's next?
Schroeder says, "If there wasn't a virtual queue, the line most likely would have been at least over 5-hour long wait.
Oh, this again?
And you wouldn't have gotten to ride it anyway." You guys make me so nervous with these questions because I can feel his heat. Don't try to ride brand new rides in the first weeks of operation, especially during reduced capacity.
Oh, good. Somebody else just coming in to defend the billion-dollar corporation. Okay, look. So this whole, first of all,
crap, you guys.
This is such a straw man. This whole thing, well, the digital queues. I have no problem with digital queues at Disneyland. Here's the problem. They don't give you access to the digital queues until the day you're supposed to be at the park. And we would never accept that style of operation from any other industry.
Yeah.
If you want to get on a flight to go to Toronto, you don't say, well, come show up at the airport and hope that there's a seat available on the flight. No, you are able to go online and say, hey, not only do I want to come to the airport on a certain day, I want to catch a specific flight to a specific city. And well in advance, they can say, great, then you can have seat 7E on this flight that's going to Toronto on that day. And you reserve it in advance. I said this before. Can you imagine if the movie theater acted and functioned like Disneyland did? Imagine the movie theater said, hey, everybody, we got Avengers Endgame. Yeah, come on down to our theaters. But you see, you don't get to actually reserve your spot in the Endgame movie. You just buy a ticket that gets you in the door to AMC Theater. And then when you get there, you hope you can get into Endgame. So you buy a $20 ticket to go to AMC Theater. You get there because you want to see Endgame. And then you get there and say, hey, thanks for coming to AMC Theaters. Oh, you want to see Endgame? Yeah, we've got Endgame, but it's sold out. You can't go see it. But, we've got Light Between Oceans over here.
Yeah.
And we've got, Hall Pass, the Owen Wilson comedy classic Hall Pass over here. Go watch one of those movies. And you say to them, but I came here to see Endgame. Oh, I know, but sorry. Well, then you say, okay, can I get a refund on my ticket and come back when I can see it? Oh, no. You can't do that. We can't give you a refund on the ticket.
There should be something like that, because I got it. And I understand It was your anniversary, and that's a big deal. I think it brings me back to when the boys were like 3 and 4. And how mind you, we had season passes, so we went like a couple times a week. But for the families that are spending money to fly into California and to go to a hotel and to say, Dad, I love Spider-Man. I can't wait for Spider-Man. And they're on that, like you said, you were refreshing 11:58, 11:59, and at 12 o'clock in the dot, it's full. When you have kids with you, that ruins the whole freaking day. There's tantrums, there's tears, and you're thinking, I poured money and time and my kids were excited. Like, it's a huge thing to
There's
bring
a simple fix.
Your family. That's not cool. Give me something. There's a day spa. Okay. I'm down with the day spas. Kimberly is here for her meditation and relaxation. And during the pandemic, they had some stuff open, but not everything. When you left, they gave you a little coupon and said, when we're back open and when the mud bath is open and when the Epsom salt bath is open, please come back. Here's a coupon for a day entry to come back and enjoy the rest of the amenities, because amenities. My life is about amenities. So my friends were like, you know what? We can get massages, but we can't use the facilities. But they're giving coupons. And I was like, I'm down. Cool. Because you know what? You can't help what you can't help. But as a company, you know that, and you know that customer service is number one. And so you gave me this coupon. So come fall, everyone's vaccinated or open back up. I want to spend my money there because guess what? You're letting me come back for free and enjoy everything I wasn't able to.
Yeah, but that's the catch. Because
I don't like how they sent you away and was like, peace. I don't know what you want me to tell you. That's not cool.
There's a simple fix that fixes all of this. And I'll tell you what the fix is, and then I'll tell you why Disney won't do this fix.
Uh-oh.
The simple fix is this. Just like, not only do I know what day I'm going to the movie theater, I book my seat at that movie theater in advance because I know now I can go next Saturday because I've got my seat. If I go online and see, oh, that theater's already full, now I know not to go to the theater next Saturday. If Disney, this would be the easiest, simplest thing in the world. If Disney would allow you to, when you're trying to book your tickets, I can now see, are there spots in the queue available for Web Slinger? Are there spots available in the queue for Rise of the Resistance? If
Give me
there
a choice.
are,
Yeah.
great. I can reserve my spot in the queue.
There you go.
So now I know with confidence, I can book my tickets. I can go to Disneyland next Thursday, whatever, with my kids, because I know that we have reserved our spots in line. Now, that's the easiest fix in the world for them to do. And here's why Disney won't do it. The reason Disney won't do it is because of this. Let's say, Kimberly, you have a family of 4, okay? You, your partner, and you got 2 kids. And you've got 4 days vacation next month. And you're thinking, I want to take the fam to Disneyland. What Disney does not want to have happen is you go to book your spot for you and your family at Disneyland. Oh, but you see that the things your kids really want to do, Web Slinger, Rise of the Resistance, they're all booked up that week. Okay, well, now we're going to go on to plan B. Instead of going to Disneyland, we're going to go do something else. And Disney's like, no. We don't want you to know you can't get on those rides. We want you to give us your money, and we don't want you to find out you can't get on those rides until you get here and it's too late.
That's not cool.
And listen, I don't like thinking the worst. I really don't. But considering how simple, easy, and effortless it would be for them to say, hey, not only do you book your tickets, but you can see if there are places in the queue available for those days to get on the attractions you want to see before committing your flights, your hotels, all that kind of stuff. It would be easy. And the only reason they don't do it is because we don't want people to find out that rides are full and they spend their money elsewhere. So let's not let them find out until they get here. And by the time they get here, it's too late. And I am shocked. Like I said, if the movie theater industry operated that way, we would never let them get away with it. But because it's Disney, bah, all the Disney sheep are like, oh, let's, it's
true.
horrible. It's just like, oh no, you don't understand. Like, bah, they have that attraction, but a lot of people want to, bah. So why don't you just give us, guess what? You think Endgame isn't going to be busy opening weekend? That's why they give people the opportunity well in advance to see if they can book their spot. And if they see that there's no spot available, then they just try to book it for another time.
Yeah.
Disney does not give you that option because they don't want you to have an option to not give them your money. And that is unacceptable. And that's why, and look, I'm not organizing some kind of stupid boycott of Disney.
You guys, he made t-shirts there in his garage.
Everybody do what you want to do. I'm just saying, for me personally, having been ripped off of $1,500, I'm like, no, like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to go back there again.
And on your anniversary, when it's supposed to be special, it's supposed to be a smooth weekend.
And I know everybody wants to defend everything Disney does. I know everybody wants to defend Disney, but no more. Anyway, okay, let's move on. What's next?
Jason in Prescott says, hi, John and Rob. I have kind of a rant. Oh, Lord. It's the excessive amount of time credits are shown at the start of some TV shows. It lasts almost halfway through and can be irritating. Thoughts? P.S. Please say hi to my mom, Carolyn. She loves the show too. Thanks.
Oh, well, hello, Carolyn.
Hello.
Thank you for watching the show. We appreciate that.
Carolyn.
You know what's a bigger issue to me? Well, look, the reality is credits don't last half the show. What has happened more and more is that a show starts and you get like 10 minutes into the show and then they do opening credits. Have you noticed that? Like they'll have this big, long part of the show first and then opening credits. But what has really started to bug me more, and it's on shows that I love, WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki. With Disney Plus, I have never seen longer end credits on TV shows.
Right.
Ever. So like every week I would be like, look at the runtime of the show. Woo, it's 45 minutes. Great. And then at like 32 minutes, well, or let's say it's like 37 minutes, the show ends and you're like, well, it says it's 47 minutes long. Man, there's still 10 minutes. Oh, then there's clearly a post-credit scene. Great. And you sit there for like 10 minutes.
Marvel, we know those post-credits are coming. So we sit there. It's not like another movie. We will sit there.
We'll sit there. And so we go, oh my gosh, 10 minutes left. Well, clearly there's going to be post. And nope, it is literally 10 minutes of freaking credits. I get it that you take a cinematic approach to these shows.
I was going to say.
It's still a TV show.
But I get that. But in a TV show, you have a certain amount of crew. But the level that they're on.
Oh, it's huge.
You have the VFX, you have the stunt doubles. You know, WandaVision, a lot of people said, I would have watched this in the theater. Yeah. Well, you have to be at a certain level, and that's a certain amount of people. And I don't know if there's any kind of like union, like my name, you know, when we watch a movie and we walk out at the credits and we see that long list in black and white. Well, now that kind of quality is being done on television. So yes, I don't know why they don't do the long white, list just going.
Yeah, they spend 6 minutes of one name per screen.
Yeah, they give everyone their time.
One more name. One more name.
One more name.
And it's just like, it's again, it doesn't lessen the quality of the show at all. I still love the show.
But it's odd.
But it's very odd.
32 minutes and 10 minutes of it. But I gotta say, when you work on something and you're sitting around with your family and you're like, look, Mom, there's my name. That's a moment.
Sure.
That's
but
a moment for people.
I shouldn't have to pay for that moment with my time for you. I shouldn't have to pay that moment. Just get to the credits. Just roll the credits. Roll them. You can be through those credits in 3 minutes. It's just that every time we get to the end of the episode and we look at the timer, it's like, whoa, there's still like 9 minutes left. There must be a post-credit scene. And then there's not. It's like, damn it. Or they give us false expectations saying, oh my God, this episode is 49 minutes long. No, the episode's 38 minutes long. It's like 10 minutes of credits. 20% of the show is credits. Think about that.
Yeah.
20% of the episode time, runtime, is credits.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. Anyway, let's
This is
move
off
on.
topic, but do you think episode 3 of Loki is going to have an end credit scene? Because Wanda, it was funny. Some episodes they did, some episodes they didn't.
No, what happened was once they started doing post-credit scenes, then all the episodes did.
Okay.
And they did that with
Because I remember we had some where there weren't.
Yeah, I don't think we will get one. I mean, I don't know. We'll find out, but I don't think we're going to get one until episode 4. So we'll see.
Word.
I hope I'm wrong. What's next?
Film Lovin' Bro says, "Hi, John. Just watch Edgar Wright's new doc, The Sparks Brothers. Even if you're not familiar with Sparks, Wright's humor and style matches perfectly with the band's quirky weirdness, and you'll gain an appreciation for their vast influence and longevity."
I am obviously I love Edgar Wright. Obviously, I'm a huge Edgar Wright fan. He's been on panels of mine. I've got to moderate openings of movies of his with him. I got to present an award to him once at Comic-Con. I love the guy's work. I think he's incredible. And I'm aware of this documentary only because I'm so aware of Edgar Wright's work. I've never heard of the Sparks. Never heard of them. So since I have no
I saw
connection,
the trailer, but I was intrigued because I'd never heard of them. And they seemed like they were way before my time, kind of like 70s and stuff like that. I'd never heard of them either, but I guess it's kind of like Weird Al. Like, it's this huge cult following, and it's one of those, if you know, you know.
Yeah, but I don't know.
And if you don't, you ain't in the club.
I got no connection to it. All right, what's next?
This is coming from King Artos of Monteval. "Hey, John. I've been having fun watching British shows. First, there was Flack on Amazon, and now I've been watching We Are Lady Parts on Peacock. It's about all-female Muslim rock band. The show is hilarious, and the girls totally rock. It's a fun show."
I'll tell you what, I watch
wanna see
more
that.
Peacock than I ever would have thought I would. I mean, because I'm always watching My Office and Parks and Rec reruns. I watch The Blacklist on Peacock. They got a lot of good stuff. And it is because I'm on the app so much that I've seen these ads for We Are Lady Parts. And I know nothing about it, but you see these Muslim women, a lot of them with the head covering, stuff like that, with an electric guitar. And I'm like, I don't know what this is, but I want to be a part of it. There's just something about the whole imagery of it that
and
I'm
there's
like,
some family in there. They gave me Kim's Convenience vibes a little bit, like getting to know more about a traditional family. And
yeah,
I
want to see it.
Intrigued.
I am totally intrigued. I want to see it. I haven't watched a single episode yet, but I am totally intrigued. It's just such a cool concept. I want to be in on it.
And I love that it's like We Are Lady Parts. Like, I haven't even seen it, but I can only imagine, like, what name can we have that's like feminist, but like gets attention? We're Lady Parts.
Love it. It's great. All right, what's next?
Chuck the Mystery. "Hey, John and Rob. 1/3, I was watching an old interview with Joel Schumacher where he was asked about the money he was making off the toys and other merchandising for Batman Forever, to which he responded, 'I'm not a grosses player, so I don't see a dime.' Oh, sorry, that was 1 of 3. 'I don't see a dime of merchandising. I took a flat fee on Batman. My question is, why would a director not want to take the grosses and a cut of the merchandising on an almost guaranteed success like a Batman movie, especially considering that even if the movie fails, the toys and merchandising will still make them big money? What are the drawbacks to being a grosses player on a large movie that has a built-in audience for both the film and the merchandise?
90% of the time, directors don't have the option of getting cuts of the merchandising. That is just not something that they have the remotest right to be a part of.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I mean, unless they're the creators of the IP, which most of the time they're not. But most times they don't even have that option. Now, as far as just grosses on the box office of the film, the drawback, because everything has pros and drawbacks. The drawback is this. If I'm a producer, I'm going to give you, and let's say I want you to direct my movie, Kim, right? And we start discussing pay structure. I'm going to tell you to make a choice. You can either take less guaranteed money, but get some points on the box office returns, or bigger guaranteed money, but no points on the box office returns. You have to make that choice. You don't get to have both.
Question, am I directing Cats?
No, we'll say it's something a little bit more lucrative than Cats. But here's the thing, as a producer, I'm not going to offer you $10 million flat rate and points. I'm going to go, okay, you want points? Okay, I will guarantee you $6 million. So now you got to decide, are points on this movie going to get me in excess of $4 million in points than I would get from the guaranteed
So it's
money.
Like choosing your own bonus?
Yeah, you got to choose.
Kind of like that? Okay.
Yeah, so if I'm directing an Avengers movie, do I want to take 10 million director's fee and no points? Or do I take 5 million director's fee and 1.5 points? An Avengers movie, I'm taking the 1.5 points. That's going to equate huge money. But I mean, that wasn't the case when these Batman movies were coming out, right? And so, like I said, a lot of most directors do not get points on merchandising sales. That's way beyond their pay grade. But it just grosses on films. Sometimes they have the option, sometimes they don't. And a lot of times a director will just think the smarter move is to take the more guaranteed money. So it all depends on the situation. All right, what's next?
Hitchcock is the GOAT says, I love the classic Incredible Hulk TV show and can't wait for it to go to streaming. Would it go to Peacock because Universal has distribution rights of the character, or Paramount Plus because it was a CBS show? It would be a great addition to either service.
Listen, it doesn't matter who has the rights to what right now. The question is, who has the rights to that show? That's the question. Who is the rights holder of that show right now? And just because Universal has distribution rights on any potential new Hulk projects, I'm not saying Universal doesn't have the rights to the show. I'm just saying it's not a guarantee. And I don't have the information on who has it. But whoever has those rights, they get to decide where it goes. Because if I own the rights to that Hulk show, I can now take the bids from any of the streaming service. I can get bids from Peacock. I can get bids from Amazon. I can get bids from Apple TV Plus, although Apple TV Plus doesn't seem like a good home for it. I could get bids from Disney Plus. That would obviously be a good home for it. I can get bids on it from anywhere. I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's up to whoever has the rights to that show. And right now, I just don't know. The best place for it right now, I think, would either be Amazon, because it seems like a real Amazon kind of show, or on Disney Plus, because that's where all the other Marvel content lives. But who does have it, that I don't know. But it has nothing to do with who has the current movie rights. That much I'm pretty confident about. So if any of you guys know the answer as to who actually is the rights holder of the original Hulk show, ba, 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 greatest piano sad music ever in history, let us know in the comments. I'd like to know. All right, what's next?
Valentin Vasilev says, and this is one of three. Hi, John. I've been listening since the AMC days. I just went and watched In the Heights on Sunday, the 20th. And I have to say, I'm glad you recommended it. The movie was an absolute joy to watch, from the soundtrack to the uplifting joy of it all. I'm glad I chose it as my first experience back in the theaters, as it was just what I needed after the hell we've all been through in the last year and a half. I hope the trend of people getting vaccinated continues, and my well wishes go out to all of our friends in India as well as the rest of the world.
Yeah, and again, we often take for granted that where we live right now, we are coming out of the pandemic. The vaccination numbers are huge. The new cases number dropping, but we forget that there are places like India that are still really struggling, and all of our thoughts to our film friends and community out there in those places as well. But yeah, In the Heights, Scott Mantz, who was on the show the other day, said a great line about In the Heights. It's not a movie you watch, it's a movie you feel. And I love that line because I felt the whole way through that movie. In the Heights. I mean, I was moving, got up and danced at the end of it. It was just one of those movies, and it's a perfect palate cleanser coming out of the disgusting film in our mouths year of 2020 to get into the theater and expect, like, a great movie to come back to is something like Godzilla versus Kong was, or something like In the Heights. But that was a great one to do, and I'm glad you were able to have that experience, Valentin. I hope we all get to have many, many more, because we don't have any relapses of this stupid thing. And you're right, that was a good one to go back to, and I love this movie. All right, what's next?
The Sock says, me after watching Fast and Furious 1 and 2. Maybe I should get some NOS installed in This also me slows down to 55 going around a bend and gets passed by a shitbox Nissan Cube.
It's just so look, but you know what? It's the thing. When I was a break dancer, and
Tell us more.
we would come out, as kids, we would come out of watching
Breakin'.
Breakin', or Breakin' 2,
Shabadoo.
Electric Boogaloo, or Beat Street, or whatever. The first thing we needed to do, grab our cardboard boxes, put on our Adidas windbreakers, and go dance. I mean, that's what we had to do. And whenever you come out of a Fast and the Furious movie, at least the earlier ones when it was still about cars, the first thing you do, you got in your car, and even though, you drive a little crap box automatic, you feel like you're going to shift gears and you're feeling like, I'm taking this corner, and you're driving 35, buddy. But I mean, yes, you get that feeling. You get that feeling. You totally do.
The first few ones, though.
Yes. All
now I'm like, somebody get me a rocket.
Yes. I need to go to space. All right. What's next?
Smokey McPot says, and this is
What a name.
1 of 4. Hi, John and Rob. I have a low-key theory, but before I get into that, I just want to say how much I love the show. I've been watching since the AMC days, and I don't know where I'd be without my daily dose of movie news. So thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you, Smokey. Appreciate that, man.
And now my theory. I think the evil Loki variant bombed the sacred timeline to draw out as many TVA operatives as he could so he could infiltrate the TVA and get access to classified TVA records that our Loki asked about. More specifically, the records detailing the creation of the TVA itself and possibly even the identity of the 3 timekeepers. If Loki could kill even one of the 3 before they created the TVA, or worse, before they were born, it could kill even one of the 3.
There's one more.
This is 4 of 4. Did and restore the multiverse, and in his eyes, his free will. Also, if Kang is one of the 3 timekeepers, it could alter the course of his life, causing him to become Kang the Conqueror. Thanks, and keep bringing the filthy.
Well, see, first of all, Smokey, you like tipped in like $20 per each one of those parts. Thank you so much for supporting our channel on that level, man. That is greatly appreciated. Here's the one thing, though. I don't think, and we'll talk about this on the pregame show, but I don't think any of us really have a real grip on what it is the variant is trying to do. Because when Loki was kind of even suggested the idea of let's take over the TVA, it's like, I have no interest in that. It's like, well, then what is this variant's goal? And I think we will find out tonight. Now, this show is being recorded on, what day is it today? Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday. June 22nd, just before we do the pregame show for Loki. So this is probably going to go up and online after the pregame show for Loki is done. But I think we're going to get a lot of information tonight. I think we're going to get a lot of information. I think we're going to find out obviously there's still 3 episodes to go after tonight, but I think we're at least going to find out tonight what is it this variant wants. Then the final 3 episodes are going to be about trying to stop the variant from doing whatever it is they're trying to do.
Stop or help.
We
don't know.
But it does not seem like taking over or toppling or whatever the TVA, I mean, according to that one exchange they had with Loki, seems to be on their dance card right now, which leads me to go, well, then what is it? What is it they're trying to do? And so, like, there's a lot of stuff that you put in there, Smokey, and you might be bang on the money with a couple of those theories, and we'll find out tonight. But right now, I just think it sounds like it's a little too close. Now, here's the funny thing. You might be watching this video after episode 3 already airs. And I may sound ridiculous because, we know the answers if you're watching this tomorrow. But it felt like that variant threw us, the audience, a major curveball when Loki thought he figured out what the variant wanted. And it had something to do with either taking over the TVA or toppling TVA. And they're like, nah, listen, I have no interest in that. That's not what I'm here for. So what is it? And I am dying to find out. It is the big thing I am looking forward to tonight. I hope we get the answer to that tonight, but we will see. Kim, you've been watching the show.
Dude.
Do you think the variants end game here has something to do with the TVA, or is the TVA and attacking the TVA just a means to a different ends that they have? Like, what do you think it's going to be?
I think it's a means to an end.
To a
And I
different
think
end?
just like the guy that was like, he's going to turn me into a fish. I think there's people there that don't really understand why they're there because they were just created almost like robots and they don't realize what they're really there for.
Right.
And so I think this is getting to the bigger picture because the bigger thing is the timekeepers and what's the deal? What's the deal with the timekeepers? Because I think, I believe, was it Kevin Feige did say that you're going to get more from Loki that sets up the films than you did from Wanda or you did from Winter Soldier.
Right.
I mean, this is a poor
I
paraphrase.
think that just
you know, this
basically
is
means
off the
there's going to
top.
be bigger repercussions coming out of Loki.
Yeah, I think there's so many things that's going to come out of this to set up other things. So to me, there's something so much bigger that's happening. So
Interesting stuff. All right, what's next?
the sock says, I thought Fast 1 was okay, though I get where you get the Point Break comparison, but I actually had a pretty fun time with 2. Ironic because I had zero interest in these movies whatsoever, and now I might be a fan.
Yeah, of course. I know Fast and Furious 1 has its fan base, and that's great. If you like Fast and Furious 1, that is awesome. Don't want to yuck on your yum. I celebrate that. For me, I hate that movie because it is a blatant plot point by plot point ripoff of Point Break.
My challenge is watch Point Break, then watch Fast and the Furious 1.
I do both by just watching Fast and Furious 1. I'm watching Point Break. That's the
But-
thing. When you watch Fast and Furious 1, you are watching Point Break. It's just that instead of surfing,
Surfboards
they're
and
driving
cars, man.
cars. That's it. It's even the point where it's like they're doing where Johnny Utah is pursuing the robbery gang. They have the masks, and you know it's Bodhi they're chasing. They do the exact same thing, except it's Paul Walker
You're
chasing
my
Vin
Bodhi.
Diesel. It's just, it is a plot point by plot point, and I never did like number 2. I also didn't like number 3. I didn't like the Fast and Furious franchise until 4. And 4 is the one where that I didn't even want to go see 4 because I didn't like any of the other Fast and Furious movies. But then I saw 4 and I'm like, that actually wasn't bad. And then 5 I loved. And then once, so I got on board with it in 4 and then totally fell in love with it in 5.
I
And
want
so-
them to get back to cars because here's the thing. I'm not a car person. Sometimes when I have to like fill out like, what's your make and model of your car?
I don't know. Red.
I'm like
It's
red. But one thing I appreciated about the first one is it was like a museum. It was like, dang, I don't know what that is, but that car is tricked out. That is so dope. I miss them just showing dope cars. Like, I don't need a tank. Just show me a really dope car.
So yeah, that's the
Anywho.
thing. But a lot of people do love that stuff. And so like when they're looking back at, the Fast and Furious, they really just want it to be about street racing again and getting back to that. In some of the things like with 5 where they're like pulling the safe, they try to build an amalgamation of it being cars, but with other things as well. But again, I don't like 9. I wish I liked 9, but I do not like 9 at all.
We only have a few more days.
Only have a few more days to go before people are able to see it. All right, what's next?
Logan James Kynaston says, I recently watched Matchstick Men with Nicolas Cage and Sam Rockwell, directed by Ridley Scott. I
Yep.
really enjoyed it, but the twist ending didn't work for me. Have you seen it? If so, what did you think of the ending? I find Ridley Scott to be hit and miss.
Ridley Scott never used to be hit or miss. He was just hit, but he had a long cold streak. He had a long cold streak. And it wasn't until he did the Matt Damon movie, The Martian, that he kind of reemerged. Like, oh yeah, everybody then remembered Ridley Scott like as an awesome director. Matchstick Men, I think, is great. The ending, like with Roy and Angela and all that kind of stuff, I didn't love the ending. All right. I won't give it away for anybody who hasn't seen it. It's not like a famous ending like Rosebud or something like that, but just in case you haven't seen it, I won't spoil it. But here's the thing for me. While I didn't like the ending or how they took it, it almost was a side note to me to the rest of the movie. It didn't take away. Now, sometimes a truly horrendous ending to a movie can ruin the rest of the movie. Even though I didn't like the ending to Matchstick Men, it didn't ruin the film for me. Like, it didn't take away from the experience of the rest of the film that I had. And so, yeah, I agree with you. Not a great ending, but still a great movie. Like, still overall, I still thought it was a really great movie. All right, guys, listen, that's all the time we have for today for this installment of the companion videos. Thank you so much. Listen, there's still more questions to come from, I believe, Ryan Lohner and John D'Amato and Trade Ben and others. Do not worry. We'll get picked up right here on the next John Campea Show episode, which will be tomorrow. Make sure you tune in and watch us there for that. Also, guys, do not forget that today, well, it depends on when you're watching this. It might not be till after, but of course, today we are going to be doing our Loki pregame show. If you guys are seeing this before 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, make sure you guys come by and join us for that. I want to thank Kimberly Curran for being here and helping us with the show today. Kimberly, where can people find you and follow you online?
Yeah, you guys can find me on Instagram at wasgoodkimberly. It's WUZ good KIMBERLY. Thanks so much.
You'll see her again here. So that's a good place. So you guys can just follow me on all the social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, stuff like that. Simply just at John Campea. Okay, guys, that'll do it for me. Thanks a lot for being here. My name's John Campea. And until next time, my friends, bye-bye.